Hello, one and all, and welcome back to what can only be called Miles Edgeworth, Ace Attorney, Trials and Tribulations. I am the Max Few Trades. In the last part, you heard correctly, we are now playing as Miles Edgeworth, who has apparently, willingly, actually done what Phoenix Wright asked of him and defend Iris in court while he is busy at being in the hospital due to surprisingly little amounts of damage, all things considered. Also, it's February 9th in this universe right now, so that would be my birthday. It's not my birthday, though. It's a few months away, but you know, but if it's an interesting side note. Anyway, I don't even know how I feel about any of this other than it's really freaking cool to be Edgeworth. Oh my. Mr. Lorreese feels that way about me. Apparently, he isn't aware of your real secret at all. Wow. This is no time to be embarrassed. I'm sorry. I'm just hardly accustomed to that sort of thing. Or not. And in any case, whatever it was that he saw on the night of the incident, mark my words, I will drag it out of him. Does that mean Mr. Lorreese is the witness today? No, I believe that none will be the first to take the stand. That's a little bit better. Sister Bikini. She claims to have seen the very instant in which you carried out the crime. Which doesn't see... It seems like complete and total gobbledygook. I just want to ask you one last time. It really wasn't you who killed Miss Elise Dunham, correct? That is correct. It wasn't me. Very well. Mr. Edgeworth? Yes? You are a prosecutor, aren't you? Are you sure about this? If your true identity is revealed. Don't worry, I've made the necessary arrangements because I'm Miles friggin' Edgeworth and I do what I want. I see. Iris. It is a prosecutor's job to doubt people. But right now, I am a defense attorney. A defense attorney's job is to believe in people, and to believe until the bitter end. That's what my friend told me once. Mr. Edgeworth, I simply ask that you watch and decide for yourself whether or not I'm fit to do the task I have been entrusted. Character development, people! I'm flexing some so happy. Very well, sir. I'll leave my defense in your capable hands. Although I won't be having any counsel, which is interesting. Also, I'm totally mentally prepared for Canadian judge. What's this all about, eh? Hey! Court is now in session for the trial of Sister Iris of Hazakura Temple. Oh, this is trippy. What are you doing over there, Edgeworth? The defense is ready, Your Honor. This is so weird. I don't know if I like it. The defense does indeed appear to be ready. However, the same cannot be said for the prosecution in this case. Indeed. I'm not sure I like such a blatant waste of this court's time. I'm not sure about many things, as apparently is the Canadian way. An empty prosecutor's chair can only mean that the prosecutor has no confidence in their ability to prove the case. It would seem this case is already over before it had a chance to begin. Boy, that's a whole lot of stuff just pushed out of the way. I'm ready to announce my verdict at this time. This court finds the defendant. Oh, no! Oh, no! Oh, it's Francisca. This is who you arranged to be prosecutor? I mean, I guess she would conceivably be the only one to not tell everyone Edgeworth isn't a defense attorney, but that still feels like a bit of a gamble. The prosecution stands ready. And you are? Francisca von Karma, prosecuting prodigy, whatever. But von Karma, you say? Perchance you wouldn't be of any relation to the legendary prosecutor Manfred von Karma. I don't see how that's anyone's business but my own. Legends are a thing of the past. I am a von Karma. That is all. Upon a special request, I flew in today for the purposes of prosecuting this case. You did? Then you must be quite a big shot, eh? By the way, Mr. Edgeworth. Yes, Your Honor. I'm almost certain that I've seen you somewhere before. Or am I just imagining things? You look very much like a prosecutor I met once. I believe you are imagining things, Your Honor. Miss von Karma, do you have anything to say? I mean, you'd think. There's no such weakling as this man among those of the prosecutor's office. There isn't? But I'm sure, once before in this courtroom... Oh, Lordy! I told you there's no such weakling. What is that, a whip? I'm not sure I care for such a thing in my courtroom. Bailiff, remove that whip I have no objection to the whip. You really should, Edgeworth. You don't? Well, to be fair, Edgeworth, you didn't get hit by it. The prosecution can wield a whip or drink 17 cups of coffee. But there's only one truth. That is what I stand here to prove today. With my weird inverted sprites. This promises to be interesting, Miles Edgeworth. I'd expected to face Phoenix Wright here today. But looking at you now, maybe this is what I've been waiting for all this time. Miles Edgeworth, I will not allow this chance to crush you slip through my fingers. Haha, smug, smug, smug. I see you brought your flair for the histrionic. Allow me to add to the things I'm not sure about. People acting bizarrely in my court. Ackenbracken! The stage is set. Now continue with the proceedings, Your Honor, or I will continue to physically abuse you. Very well, Miss Von Karma. Please give an outline of this case. With a little whipping, with as little whipping as possible. No promises. The murder victim is the famed picture book author, Miss Elise Denim. Ugh. I keep seeing that name and it's so intimidating. Good lord, she was fully shish kebabbed. Her body was found in the Hazakura Temple courtyard. She had been stabbed through the torso by a ceremonial sword from a golden statue. The sword in this picture. Is this the weapon in question, correct? Very well. The court accepts this photo of the crime scene. I should probably take a quick look-see-loo at that exact thing there, though. Let's see. Oh, okay, hang on. I just want to take a quick look. I didn't really get a good look. All right, just lying there, most definitely stabbed, very messed up. Okay, interesting. There is no mistake. This was the doing of Sister Iris. After all, there is a witness to her crime. Very well. Please bring this witness to the stand. Oh, this is weird. And so it begins. My first and last trial as a defense attorney. Here's hoping that's true, Edgeworth. Oh, lordy! Witness, state your name and occupation, please. It's so weird. It's Edgeworth versus Francisca. This is so awesome. This game, like, pulled out all the stops to be epic. Hold on here. I'm not sure about I'm not sure about being not sure if I care for this at all. That was such a weird sentence, I thought I was saying it wrong. Witness, please stand up nice and straight. If I recall correctly, there are a few milk crates in the defense lobby for our back pain-plagued witness. Bailiff, fetch a crate for this poor lady, please. My goodness, she is considerably short. Once again, your name and occupation, please. Little old me? Well, I'm the head nun of Hazakura Temple on Eagle Mountain. My name is Bikini. You got it? Bikini. Nice to meet you, everyone. The creepy-eyed judge is judging. But you don't appear to be wearing a bikini right now. Ackenbracken! The courtroom is the garden of holy judgment. Those with lechery in their hearts should leave this sanctuary at once. You want me to leave? No need to get your bikinis in a twist, let me tell you. I'm a sight to behold in summer. In any case, witness, I hear that you saw the crime take place on the night in question. That's right. I can still hardly believe it myself, to be honest. There's no way dear little Iris could do anything like that. That's what we're here to prove. Let us hear what you have to say then. First, tell us about your own movements that night, eh? There we go, full-on Canadian. All Canadian. Maximum maple syrup. At night, I was helping an acolyte with her training in the inner temple, but, well, as you can see, my back likes to act up violently. So, I left Iris to help the acolyte and returned to Hazakura Temple. There's no bath at the inner temple, you see, and I needed a long hot soak. It was after I had finished, just as I was heading back, that's when I saw it. It was very alarming. So it was simply coincidence that you found yourself returning to Hazakura Temple. Yes, you could say that. If my back hadn't been in so much pain, I would have stayed at the inner temple. That sounds like a pretty important statement she just made. There's only one problem with this testimony that I can see. And you're not about to fall at the first hurdle, now are you, Miles Edgeworth? That remains to be seen. The depths of my incompetence may shock and astound you, my dear. Mr. Edgeworth, please begin your cross-examination. Very well. This is weird. Alrighty, so let's see here. And I was helping an acolyte with her training in the inner temple. Not entirely useful information. As you can see, my back leg stacked up violently. I suppose... Hold it! Ha-ta-ta-ta! Violently? That's right. It's no laughing matter, especially in winter. I can't hold anything heavier than a knife and fork during the cold months. Just being alive is like strict training. On the night of the murder, was this fabulous back of yours hurting again? That's right. Raging like a bull in a pig pen. I almost fainted once or twice. I just knew that unless I warmed it up, it was gonna finally finish me off. I just thought that there might be more information in there. Alright, so this is probably the most important. Let's hold that noise. You left Iris to help. With what? What do you may think? The acolyte's training, of course. It was just past 10 p.m., so we were starting to enter into the train's exercises proper. Wasn't it your place to remain with the disciple? Well, the job is simply to watch over the acolytes so they don't pass away. Just to confirm this point against that night, you met Iris in the inner temple, correct? Yes. She's a gentle, honest girl. She's never once failed to follow my directions. There's no bath. So after that, I was heading back. That's when I saw it. Most interesting. I guess, well, I thought that we might actually get some legitimate informations out of that, but we didn't really get much of anything. Not entirely sure what to do, but, alright, I guess we'll just keep on hoping for the best, I suppose. Best thing I can possibly assume. The crime took place in the courtyard, correct? When you go from my room to the main hall, you have to take a winding hallway from which you can see the courtyard. That's right. In other words, it was pure coincidence that the witness saw the crime taking place before her eyes. That was no complicated setup in this case, or there was none, to be specific. It certainly seems to be true. There's indeed only one problem with this testimony. If I can clearly point out what it is, then I can begin to quantify just how good this witness's memory and observation skills are. Alright, so do I just not remember? Oh, can I take a closer look at that? No, I actually can't. Alright. Body fell 10 feet after death. Oh, the testimony! That would be why. Okay, sorry, I completely forgot I even had this. Okay. So, the defendant's testimony doesn't quite line up to that. So, if you don't mind, never thought I'd hear that coming in a direction that meant good things. Although that's not true. It has happened a couple times when Edgeworth helped me, but still, you know what I generally mean. Witnesses have to undergo their own trials, I'm afraid. The defendant's fate rests on the powers of observation and memory, after all. Well. Don't worry. I'm more than up to the task. I'm a woman of faith, after all. The head honcho of Hazakura Temple. In that case, Miss Honcho, I'd like you to explain something for me. The discrepancy between your testimony and that of the defendant, Iris. She claims that after ringing the lights out bell, she went back and stayed in her room. So what's the haps, paps? Which means she did not go to the Inner Temple at all. No, she said that? A defendant or a witness? Who is more likely to lie, do you suppose? The defendant is simply lying to cover her back. Yeah, except what if I've got smug face. But that is completely illogical. The murder was committed in the courtyard of Hazakura Temple. Claiming that she went to the Inner Temple would make for a much better alibi. Well, I suppose that's technically true. But that is odd. Whatever the reason, I can't believe that she would lie. She does indeed have honest eyes. Ah, my everything! All people lie. That is my belief. Why am I the only one being whipped in here? Because I guess you're the most expendable. I doubt she's actually gonna hit Edgeworth. Anyway, neither the witness nor the defendant have any reason to lie. Which means we must call your memory into question. Dear. You're older than me, and yet you want to play that game, do you? Well, that isn't exactly what My memory is perfect, crystal clear, especially in winter. I mean, if this was the summer, maybe, but this is the winter. Then I suppose it's too early to end this cross-examination, eh? Mr. Edgeworth, if you are going to question the memory of this witness, you'll need to show me a more decisive piece of evidence. Understood, Your Honor. I was naive to think that alone would do the trick. It was certainly worth the effort, though. And please add your comments about Iris to the testimony, and let us return to the cross-examination. All right. That night, I was helping an acolyte with her training. Oh, hang on. Well, as you can see, looks up. She was dressed exactly as she had been at dinner. Oh, that's an incredibly specific thing to point out, considering she wasn't wearing her hood. Objection! Witness, let's get one thing straight. The defendant whom you claim to have met, she was wearing this demon-warding hood, correct? Of course. That is a very important piece of clothing, I'll have you know. Wah ha ha, wah ha 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 ha. Wait a minute.
Objection!
Hold it right there. Why do you have that? Smug, smug, smug. It's so great to have the smug on my side. That's the question of the day now, isn't it, Miss Von Karma? I'll have you know that this hood was given to someone as a gift that night, before the lights out bell was rung. But, what? You know where I'm going with this, don't you? If the witness had seen the defendant as she claims, slam my jam, then the iris she saw should have been missing this very hood. Well, well, well! Oh, damn, she is on a lot of crates. It's not a bad feeling at all, exposing contradictions like this. Now I understand that happy look on Wright's face every time he does it. Haha! Mutual understanding of situations. Of course, Edgeworth, I'm sorry to tell you, mister. I'm sure as the other side of the conversation many times before, you're well aware of the facts of just how incredibly difficult this battle is. Order! Order in the court! Witness your... Sister, this hood, you have spare ones around the temple, don't you? Spares? Well, I do tend to make many of them. I see. A stockpile. A surplus of hoods, eh? An entire smorgasbord of them. Each nun is only given one hood. This should be the only hood that Iris owned. And this is quite strange. Ah, my parts! If there was a surplus of hoods, then she could have worn one of those. There's no contradiction here. I'm sorry to break this to you, Miss Von Karma, but you won't get away that easily. Discrepancies such as this will sow seeds in any human heart. The seeds of doubt. The seeds of anarchy. Of turmoil. Witness? Well, I don't wish to call your testimony into doubt. You must give every detail with precision. I'm not sure I'm comfortable going along with this. Well, you don't really have much of a choice. Sister, you shall continue with your testimony. Tell us what you saw after finishing your bath on your way back to the inner temple. Those seeds of doubt are sprouting in the judge's heart. They just need a little more stimulation to bear fruit. A bit more water, a bit more fertilizer. Contradictory stimulation. It's time for me to poke more holes in things. Cha-cha-cha-cha. I finished my bath around 11, and I thought I should return to the inner temple. And as I was walking back, I heard a noise from the courtyard. I took a look, and Iris was, Mystic Elise. And with that sword of all things, Mystic Elise was staying in the corner room, which faces out onto the courtyard. The stabbing I saw must have occurred after she was pushed out of her window. Ah, but that's not true. We checked the autopsy on that. You saw a truly terrible sight, didn't you? If I was in your place, then it would be much like Miss Von Karma whipping Mr. Edgeworth in two in court. And me seeing it all from this very chair. Well, something like that. Look, if Von Karma can actually whip a human being in two, that's a level of impressiveness that honestly should be very much lauded. This judge. His imagination is about as vivid and creative as Detective Gumshoe. I would look the fool if I commented on such foolishness. Anyway, this case is mine, Miles Edgeworth. Calling everyone by their full name. Can't you do something about that habit of yours? Obviously not. If she's not gonna stop whipping people, she ain't gonna stop being all overly formal about things. All right, well, lucky day, lucky me. I already have a pretty good idea on what I need to do. I just need to show this autopsy. Objection! Impressive logic. That's what I'd like to say, anyway. Oh, please do. My brain is something else, especially in winter. However, I think you are overlooking one thing. Miss Von Karma, would you be so kind as to take another look at the autopsy report? The autopsy report? The victim did fall from a height of 10 feet. However, this fall was after she was killed. That's right! It says after death right here. Slamajam! The scene the witness claims to have seen is contradictory. If the defendant stabbed and killed the victim there in the courtyard, how did the victim then go on to take a 10-foot fall? Neckerbracken! I do like that taken back sprite of Francisca. She's like, grabs her shoulders crisscross style and goes, hop, 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 hop. I don't know why, I just find that really entertaining. Order, order! The victim was killed and then fell. If that is the case, then the victim must have been killed in her room. Don't you agree? That is the logical conclusion? Yes, that's right. The victim must have been stabbed by the defendant in her own room. And she was then thrown out of her window down into the courtyard below. I didn't use the smug. Were there any signs of a struggle in Miss Stidham's room? She was stabbed with a sword. That'd leave a bit of a blood stain, wouldn't you agree? Well, Miss Von Karma, was there any blood? Ah, my parts! No traces of blood were found in the victim's room. Your whip has just caused traces of blood to be found on my glorious playoff beard. However, if there was no blood in the room, then your claim to God damn it doesn't... I'm sure there's no need for me to go over this, as I'm sure your honor is well aware of when a stab wound produces the most blood. When it produces the most blood? Very little blood is actually lost at the moment of a blade's insertion. If you want to talk about when the most blood would be lost from a body, that would be when the blade is removed. Indeed. With the weapon still in place, it acts like a lid on the wound. I mean, for the most part. Some stuff would leak out, but yeah, that's true. But at the same time, wouldn't she then just try to dispose of the weapon entirely? From where I was standing, it looked like the sword got put back inside of the statue's hand, which just seems kind of strange. It's true, with the weapon still in the body, there wouldn't be much bleeding. A perfectly reasonable line of thinking. Hota! Hota! We have come to a conclusion then. The victim was thrown out of the window with the sword still in place. This removes all of the contradictions. So you say, so you say. Order, order, order! I must admit that this is a very probable version of events. I'd expect no less from Francisca Von Karma. She locates and takes control of every vital point. It seems that we need a clearer testimony from the witness. Remove all suspicion on your part and tell us only the facts, please. There, witness, please, remain standing on the crate. I don't want it. Don't go selling me short now. The weight of winter snow has bent me out of shape, especially my back and my mood. Sister, please give us your testimony. I will give you a vigorous massage once we are finished here. With the whip? Oh boy. All right, all right. Edgeworth asking the real questions here. When I looked across at the scene, the sword was already in place. Thinking about it now, I didn't actually see her stab Mystic Elise. Then that entire picture was pointless and fake. I've never seen so much blood before. That's when I fainted. You can't blame me, can you? And when I awoke, Mystic Ami, was stabbing Mystic Elise through the back. Sorry, that confused me. It's like, wait, no, that's not her name. This all confirms Miss Von Karma's theory. Von Karma strive for nothing but perfection. Granted, we've completely failed at that striving, but, you know, it's the thought that counts. Putting together such facts is nothing for me. You should know that, Miles Edgeworth. Perfection is an impossibility, Francisca Von Karma. Seriously, your perfect record is very stained, I'd have you know. And I'm here to teach you just that. With my knowledge! It's time for further details. Alright, so let's see here. When I looked across the scene, the sword was already in place. Well, then why'd you say otherwise? At the time, was the victim bleeding? Well, I was very shocked to be seeing all this, of course. So I'm not entirely sure. But I don't think I saw any blood. Not then. I'm sure that you didn't. The weapon was acting as a plug in the wound. In any case, let's be clear on one very important point. Did you actually see the instant in which the victim was stabbed? The answer is nay. Again, then why did you say that you did? Think carefully. This is very important. It's Iris we are talking about. I'm thinking for all I'm worth. No. When I looked over, the sword was already in Mystic Elise's body. It might not be conclusive, but this testimony supports a theory. The victim was stabbed in her room and then dropped into the courtyard. I think this proves it rather well, Miles Edgeworth. You say these things.
Hold it!
Are you really so sure? So you're saying that you saw the victim's blood? That's right. Some of it had splattered onto Iris, too. When the defendant was arrested, she was meditating in a room, and her blood-flecked clothing was neatly folded in the corner. What? The clothes were blood-flecked as well? That seems quite conclusive to me. What should I do? Press this point further? I see no reason why to never not press things. Press them hard! Going back to your previous statement, you said that you saw little bleeding when the victim was stabbed. But now you say you saw the victim bleeding? Well, I say that what I saw. I say that what I saw is what I saw. Well, what did you see? Maybe I didn't see the poor woman get stabbed, but I saw the girl pull the sword out of her plain as day. That's news! Pulling the sword out? Well, it wasn't exactly pulling. It was more like it came out. Witness, you will add this statement to your testimonial. Oh, was that important? More important than you can imagine. I saw the instant in which the blade plunged into the hilt was smoothly drawn out. Ooh! 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 That can't be possible. Like, seriously? This was plunged down to the hilt? Just forget the force it would take to actually do that with all these damn prongs, but just the blood on it would show that that's just not what the case was. Objection! Sister Bikini, you are a reliable witness. At least I'd like to think so, but there are too many contradictions here. What do you mean? You make it sound as though I'm a liar. But you're a handsome young man, so I'll forgive you. As is the tradition of such things. What contradiction are you talking about? In the scene that the witness claims to have seen. Ha-cha-cha! The weapon was thrust up to its hilt into the victim. Furthermore, the killer withdrew the weapon smoothly from the body. Explain to me how that's possible. You can't. However, both of these are complete impossibilities. What do you mean? Please, explain. Yagred, my hearts! Explain yourself! To start with, do you think it would be possible to stab someone to the hilt with this? No matter how I look at the defendant, she doesn't appear strong enough for that. Doesn't appear? What meaningless dribble. I, too, may appear to be weak and frail. And granted, if you took my whip away, I probably wouldn't be able to do jack all about anything, but I can crush men under my heel and make them weep, so I choose. The objection stands. I wept a little back there, I must admit. Okay, well then how about a new one? That isn't the only issue here. If the sword was truly stabbed into the body up to the hilt, well, just look at all the branches on it. It certainly wouldn't come out smoothly, now would it? Yeah, that's... We also have the problem of the amount of bleeding. It's true that when a blade is left in a body, it acts as a plug of sorts. However, when the weapon is shaped like this, it's an entirely different story. The wound would be too large for the blade to completely stop the bleeding. That's nothing more than conjecture. In reality, the victim was stabbed with a shito. But even a weapon of this nature may still sometimes slide out smoothly and may still sometimes stop the blood loss. That's a lot of assumptions you're throwing out there. And you know what they say about assumptions? Smug, smug, smug. I'm not finished. There's still one more conclusive contradiction. You still got more? This one is simple. If the sword really was thrust in all the way to the hilt, why is there only blood on the tip of it? Slam jam. If this witness is telling the truth, then there should be blood along the entire length of the sword. Honestly, if it got slid down all the way to the hilt, it would have been easier to pull it through the front than all the way out through the back. No! Oh, but yes, Von Karma. Order! Why, God! Bravo, Miles Edgeworth. Risking this many contradictions from a single piece of evidence, or raising them rather, not risking. All the other attorneys I know could maybe manage one, if that. What does it all mean? You have proven contradictions regarding the murder weapon, but having come this far, there can be only one answer. And that is? The weapon used to kill the victim was not the shishito. What? A foolish idea born from the foolish mind of a foolhardy foolish fool. And yet it is the truth. Let's examine this again. What was it that made us think this sword was the murder weapon? Well, the fact that it was shoved in her body, mostly. It's because Mr. Kami was holding it. Exactly. However, if you reflect on this, that is the only basis we have to assume such a thing. The impression left by the scene was just too strong. That is what influenced us. It influenced us to believe that the Shichicho was the murder weapon. I'm bad at saying words. Order, order, order. Why though? So maybe the Shichichito was not the murder weapon. Even if that is the case, it changes nothing, Miles Edgeworth. The sister here saw everything. She saw the defendant stab the victim with a sword-like object. Except for the fact that she already said that she didn't. That's true. Your response, Mr. Edgeworth? Let me ponder this for a moment. Hang on. Hold on, just a moment. Hang on. Oh, yes, okay, very well. If that is so, I would like the prosecution to answer the obvious question it raises. The obvious question? Yes. Namely, where did the real murder weapon disappear to? What do you gotta say about that? It goes without saying that the police searched the main hall and the surrounding area. Perhaps the prosecution can enlighten us as to if a sword-like object was found. That's... Answer the question, Miss Von Karma. No evidence of that kind was found. Oh my god, there was no evidence found! That seems very odd. Another mystery to throw onto the pile. And boy howdy, are these piles mysterious. Trial without a murder weapon is a tricky beast. Excuse me. Oh, could I say something? I just remembered something, actually. What is it, sister? I was just thinking. It's possible that just maybe what actually happened was, it was just over there. What exactly are you going on about here? The murder weapon, I mean. Maybe. I think I might know where the sword was disposed of. Back up, whore! Who did she just whip? Well then. I think we need to hear testimony from you one more time, sister. Possibly! What else? What else could this woman have seen? With her evil eyes. They're not evil, they're just stern. And I like giving her a tough, gruff voice when she makes them. And I saw the murder at around 11 p.m. And after asking that it be reported, I went out to the main gate. And there, I saw tracks! Tracks that indicated the snowmobile had been used. It takes 15 minutes to walk to Dusky Bridge, but less than 5 using one of those. Maybe they threw the weapon into Eagle River and came back while I was knocked out. Iris could have done that. She can drive a snowmobile after all. Well, that's a big pile of new information that I don't know how much I care for. Ah, lordy Lou. That's a big pile of butts if there ever was one. All right, let's see what we can do. Witness, please. Tell us everything you know right away next time. Well, I'm not in the best of shape. Well, with my back and my age, you know. You're not even 50. Quite. There were indeed snowmobile tracks in front of the main gate. Here's a photograph that we just were holding on to. All right, I see snowmobile tracks and footsteps. A snowmobile, eh? I see. Well, it certainly is an interesting theory. The tracks begin in front of Hazakura Temple and run all the way back to Dusty Bridge. Or Dusky Bridge. Whatever. The point is it happened, so get off my butt. Come on now. That solves your pesky little problem, yes? The Eagle River's current is quite swift, meaning that it doesn't freeze over in winter, making it the perfect place to dispose of the murder weapon. Did she really go to the river to dispose of the murder weapon? I have my doubts! Mr. Edgeworth, your cross-examination, please. Well, I just so happen to have a theory already waiting in the wings. I'm not 100% sure if it's true or not. It's within the realms of possibility that this might not be the case, but still. Okay. It's just, well, I can't help but notice. Okay. Because... yeah, no. Or would it? Crap. I don't feel confident enough to actually say it, but I feel like it's my only real viable option. Okay, and after asking that it be reported, I went out the main gate. There I saw tracks. Okay, it takes 15 minutes to walk to Dusky Bridge, but less than 5 using one of those. Maybe they threw the weapon into the river while I was knocked out? She can drive a snowmobile after all. Okay. I think that this is the only viable course of action, but if I'm wrong, well, everyone's gonna make fun of me. Well, people make fun of me anyway, but whatever. The point is, objection! Music stopped, I did it! Woo! I admit this photograph proves something. It proves that the snowmobile was used on the night of the murder. You finally accepted the inevitable, it seems, Miles Edgeworth. However, if what the witness says is true, then why is there only one set of tracks? Okay, that's what I was thinking. What do you mean? Iris left Hazakura Temple, threw the weapon into the river, and then returned. If this was the case, then naturally there should be two sets of tracks in the snow. Those from heading out to the bridge and those from coming back. Ah! You're right. Huh. You're forgetting one thing, Miles Edgeworth. And what would that be? You mint-haired colored fool! On the night of the murder, it was snowing. The tracks leading to the bridge were erased by the snowfall. This removes your precious contradiction, now doesn't it? I see. While she was at the river, the snow stopped, leaving just the return tracks in the snow. Pata! Shashing! What do you have to say now, Miles Edgeworth? Is there a flaw in her theory? I think there might be. The idea that the snowfall covered one set of tracks? It's flawless! I'm screwed! I guess I need to give up. No, I'm gonna go ahead and say there was probably a contradiction. The tracks to the river were covered by snow. What a nice theory. However, Miss Von Karma, that is impossible. Would you care to explain why there is a rude index finger currently pointed in my general direction? Ha ha! Smug, smug, smug. No need. The evidence will do all the talking for me. Bada bing, bada boom. On the night of the murder, the killer went to and returned from Dusky Bridge. In order to dispose of the murder weapon, the outgoing tracks were erased by snow. Or so claims Miss Von Karma. Mr. Edgeworth, present your evidence to the contrary, eh? Evidence that the outgoing tracks were not covered by snow. All right, so my prevailing theory would actually be the weather data, perhaps? Lightning struck Dusky Bridge at 10:50, around 30 minutes. Snow, 7 to approximately 10:50. And it was said that she saw this all go down at about 11. So if she left to get rid of it, then the snow would have already stopped. That's the theory I'm going with. Take that! Ha-ta-ta! Slam-a-jam! Witness, please tell us again what time it was when you witnessed the crime. Like I said, it was around 11. Of course. This means that the weapon was thrown away after that time, correct? On that note, please take a look at this data. It is the weather report for Eagle Mountain on the night of the murder. The weather report? Snow started to fall at 7 p.m., but it stopped at around 10:50. Therefore, when the sister witnessed the crime at 11 p.m., the snow had already stopped falling. It is impossible for any tracks made after that time to have been covered up. Be God's almighty! What do you got to say about that noise, eh? Order, order! Very well then. It looks like Miss Von Karma's claim has been snowed in. Ah, my parts! It's too soon to be closing this trial due to snow. Wata! Shashing! Miles Edgeworth, how pathetic of you to rely on the weather of all things. Look at my stern gaze. Do you truly challenge me? Answer me this then. When is a weather report ever correct? What? Ah, no, you've got it all wrong. This isn't a forecast, this is actual data. Ah, why? Forecast data, all weather reports have some inaccuracies. It may still have been snowing in the vicinity well past 11 p.m. Then why was it so freakishly specific? It's true. We cannot be totally sure, eh? What the put? How did she pull that off? Yeah, well, welcome to being a defense attorney, Edgeworth. It kind of sucks. It had stopped snowing at Hazakura Temple when the murder took place. You need to provide conclusive evidence of this. I've come this far. There's no turning back now. Very well. I, too, cannot allow any doubt to remain concerning this testimony. You can't back down, can you? Such a perfectionist, Miles Edgeworth. Says literally the biggest perfectionist in the history of mankind. Very well then, Mr. Edgeworth. Where is your evidence that it had already stopped snowing when the victim was killed? Well... Okay, so, hang on, when it stopped when the victim was killed? Okay, so if it was still snowing, then wouldn't there be snow on her? That probably works, yeah? Ultimately, it all comes down to one point. That being, whether or not it was snowing in the courtyard when the victim was stabbed. That's right, you could say whether the weather could weather the storm, if it were. That's right, but proving that is incredibly easy. Ha ha! The smugness of Edgeworth knows no equal. Huh? If you want to know whether the weather was snowing or not, this photo will tell us everything. Of course, I am referring to the photo of the crime scene. The one you provided, by the way, so have fun with that noise. As you can see, everything is covered with snow. With just one exception. And that is the victim herself, Miss Elise Denim. I keep looking at it and it intimidates me and I'm doing my best. Why is there no snow on top of her? The answer is simple. It stopped snowing when she was killed, and that's why. Slam jam. In other words, if the killer really did go to the Eagle River to dispose of the murder weapon, then in this photograph, there should be 2 sets of tracks. That's a fucking... Lord, there should have been 2 tracks. This man is on a roll. Butter him up. Ha! My birds! Just what are you suggesting, Miles Edgeworth? To be honest, I'm not entirely sure myself, but, defense attorneys, grasping at straws, all that, tip-tip, trilio, and all that, whoop! This is simply what all of the facts point to. That night, someone used the snowmobile to leave Hazakura Temple. Zoom zoom, beep beep, and what have you. Yes. When the tracks left, it can be understood that they were heading for Dusky Bridge. At the time, it was still snowing. Of course it was, because the tracks were erased by the snow. Then, when this person returned to Hazakura Temple, beep beep, and jaw jaw, and all that, the snow had stopped. Thus, the return tracks remained. Can I say something? This all sounds a bit fishy to me. What does, sister? There is only one key for the snowmobile. Egads? Furthermore, on the night in question, we know that the defendant had it. The key was found in her room after the murder. How many things were put in there? Which can only mean that night. Iris used the snowmobile to go to the inner temple. But Iris said that she never went there. I should probably press on this point some more when I get the chance. Oh boy. The snowmobile can't cross the suspension bridge. I would certainly hope not. So she must have left it on the Hazakura side of the bridge and crossed on foot. Hup, tup, 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 tup. That sounds right. But what's odd is when I left Iris and returned to Hazakura Temple, did you not see a snowmobile? I didn't see anything near Dusky Bridge. You must have failed to see it, sister. Maybe, but when I made it back to Hazakura Temple, it was there by the main gate. The snowmobile, I mean. I know what I saw. It was covered in snow, too. Well, ain't that an interesting set of circumstances? But that isn't possible! It shouldn't be possible. Order, order, order in the court. What does all this mean? I have absolutely no idea. I'm not good at my job. So then, what was the snowmobile used for? It wasn't taken by the defendant when she went to the inner temple. If it had been, then the witness couldn't possibly have seen it by the gate. Furthermore, it wasn't used by the killer to dispose of the murder weapon. If that was the case, there should be 2 sets of tracks in this photo. Your guess is as good as mine, people. All we know is this. After it stopped snowing, someone used the snowmobile to return to Hazakura Temple. My creepy eyes agree. I never thought a simple snowmobile could cause so much trouble. And yet here we stand. And I think we've learned all we can from this witness. Yes, I've nothing more to add. I've told you everything that I know. But then, that still leaves us with the same problem. If only there was someone, as my microphone stage dives right into my chest, very aggressively and painfully, ow. If there was only someone, a witness who could testify to having seen the snowmobile. A witness, huh? Was there no one out, walking perhaps near Dusky Bridge on that night? I don't think that's likely. It was cold enough to freeze your ears off. Only an idiot would go out wandering in that. Oh boy, I know what idiot we're talking about. Unless they had something really important to do. That's a shame. Hold on! An idiot! Something is coming to me. An idiot may well have begun wandering out on that subarctic night. Slam jam! Your Honor! Actually, there just might be one individual who may be of help to us. Really? You know of someone who might have seen the snowmobile on the night of the murder? I don't know for sure if he saw it or not, but there are two things about him that do come to mind. Which are? First, that he saw something incredible on the night of the murder. And the second being? This individual that I am thinking of went wandering outside on that cold night. In other words, he is our kind of idiot. BAM! Oh, wait, I accept that. Okay. Mr. Edgeworth, who is this idiot you're talking about? The only idiot anybody is ever talking about. Take that, ha-ta! This guy must be a product of Jean-Luc de Ludoc's Guide to Obnoxious French Painting. I'm sure I mispronounced that, but man, that was quite the sentence. This is Larry Butts, disciple of the victim, Elise. I'm just not even going to try anymore. A student? Interesting. And why was he wandering about outside of the night of the murder? That's... God, I don't even freaking know. I could tell him all about his designs for Iris, but it may cost us his credibility as a witness before I even call him. So maybe let's omit that. He is, after all, an artist. He was, perhaps, searching for something in the snowy scenery that would move him. Although I cannot guarantee that is the reason. And so, this unfortunate, unreliable man, what exactly was it that he saw? Smug. I intend to extract that information from him right here in this courtroom. Summon this youth as witness immediately. I have no choice, do I? No, not really. Kinda have to go with me on this one. I believe he is in the gallery for this trial. It will not take long to summon him. Very well. Larry. You useless sack of crap. You may have escaped me yesterday, but today I'm going to get everything out of you. In the court of law, there will be nothing left to chance. This court will now adjourn for a 20-minute break. Miss Von Karma, please see to preparing the next witness. Understood, Your Honor. Good. Well then, court is now in recess.
I'd play on the slide, but my beard gets stuck in the bolts.
Not our judge, though. Our judge has a much better beard. I refuse to say otherwise. Anyway, well, there you go. There's part one. I think I did okay so far. I don't really have a lot of answers to a lot of the things that are going on, which means we're going to have to rely on Larry for the majority of this, which is all around just about the worst possibility that there could ever be, but that being said, we've just got to go through with it and hope for the best. Hopefully you all enjoyed yourselves, and I'll see you all in the next one. Later.